10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good afternoon, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Am I in the Twilight Zone? We all need to take a collective deep breath right now because this will infuriate you. Hello, Long Island. I know you're out there. I know that so many of you are watching. I know so many Long Island taxpayers out there are watching. And let's just all take a collective deep breath, shall we? Namaste. Because I am so angry about what I'm about to report to you that I'm going to try my best to be classy today. You know, I always try and keep it classy, no foul language, no vitriol in the chat. And this, my friends, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. Today is Wednesday, March 6th. It is 4 o'clock here in New York, PM. And what happened today in court will infuriate you. Just yesterday, I think I can speak for all of us here on Long Island when I say that we took a collective sigh of relief yesterday. Because 6 days ago, a couple of high school kids on their way to high school at Babylon High School on Siegel Boulevard, which is a budding Southard's Pond Park in Babylon, found an arm in a bush. They didn't know if it was real. The girl who found it said she thought it might be a prop or a costume or something. So she called her dad. Her dad came down to the scene, called police because obviously it was real. It was tattooed. Fingertips were missing. Police were called. Suffolk County PD came to the scene, started searching. 20 feet into the bramble, they found the other arm. They brought the K-9 teams out. They did a search of the 19-acre park in Babylon, and they found more stuff on the west side of the park, right outside or close to Babylon Elementary School. The teachers at Babylon Elementary School were told to discreetly shut their blinds so that the children would not be alarmed by the massive police search that was going on outside their classroom windows. Over there on the west side of the park, police found female remains. The remains that they found on the east side of the park were male remains. These remains were female, including a head, an arm, a leg. After a massive search of 2 other areas in the ensuing days, a torso turned up at Bethpage State Park, which is the home of the Bethpage Black Golf Course. And some more parts were found in a wooded area in Babylon near Lakeway. I think it's Lakeway Drive. I did a stream on this on Sunday night before anyone had been arrested. And I put up a picture, a blurred picture of the tattoos on the arm, thinking if we shared the stream out and we all played armchair detective, maybe somebody would be able to identify the arm or the tattoos of the male victim. And maybe it worked. I don't know, because YouTube shadow banned the video. So that was an issue. But we're still talking about it. Anyway, I don't care. I don't care about that. What I care about is getting the word out here. So yesterday, we all breathed a collective sigh of relief when we learned that on Monday night, March 4th, well, that would have been, hold on, that would have been March 3rd, right? 3rd was Sunday. The 4th was Monday. Police banged down the door with an actual battering ram of a house in Amityville, giving a whole new meaning to the phrase Amityville horror, banged the door down with an actual battering ram, searched the house, and arrested 4 individuals who they say are involved in this crime. The victims have not been publicly identified yet. Yesterday, when I reported on this, it was because they were awaiting notifications to next of kin. The 4 people who were arrested were released today by a Suffolk County judge. And our district attorney, Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney, is blaming bail reform. It's also been reported that there is extensive evidence in this case, including not only human remains, but meat cleavers, butcher knives, significant blood evidence. And these 4 individuals have been let out. They've been let out with ankle monitors, GPS monitoring, no bail. They've been ordered to remain in Suffolk County. They've been ordered to report weekly to probation officers, and they had to surrender their passports. If you, as a Long Island taxpayer or a New York State resident, are not infuriated by this, I don't know what'll infuriate you. Children found the body parts. Children at an elementary school watched a cadaver dog's search outside their windows of their elementary school. And because of New York State bail reform laws, this is what happens. These people are out, no bail. The evidence against them includes butcher knives, meat cleavers. And you don't think they could figure out how to remove an ankle monitor? Are we kidding ourselves? Are we kidding ourselves? The 4 suspects have been named. We're going to name them in a minute. They were in First District Court today in Central Islip. I didn't see any cameras there. I was looking on the court docket last night for 4 people that were going to be arraigned today so that I could go there and find out. No, they're not out on murder because you know why? Nobody was charged with murder. Somebody said, "Oh, Detective DeWan out on murder." No, they weren't charged with that. What should we do first? Should we talk about the suspects or should we look at Ray Tierney's statement? Let's look at Ray Tierney's statement first that he tweeted on Twitter. I have not seen a press conference with Ray Tierney today. If anybody else knows where I can find that, let me know because I'm dying to see it. And the headlines on this were not originally about the fact that these people were let out on bail. By the way, it's 2 men and 2 women. Nothing on the Suffolk County District Attorney's website, but I did find this on Twitter. This is a statement from the Suffolk County District Attorney Raymond A. Tierney on developments in the case involving mutilated bodies found in Babylon and Bethpage. It is our understanding that the Suffolk County Police Department is still investigating these murders. Unfortunately, due to, quote, bail reform, end quote, passed by the New York State Legislature in 2019, charges relating to the mutilation and disposal of murdered corpses are no longer bail eligible, meaning my prosecutors cannot ask for bail. This is yet another absurd result, thanks to, quote, bail reform, end quote, and a system where the legislature in Albany substitutes their judgment for the judgment of our judges and the litigants in court. We will work with the Suffolk County Police Department to resolve this investigation as soon as possible and implore our legislature to make common sense fixes to this law. There it is, folks, right there on Twitter for everyone to see. And I'm calling it Twitter forever. I don't care. It's Twitter to me. When I looked earlier, there were not even any comments on this tweet. There's still, well, I'm going to refresh this for a second. No comments on this tweet. One person saved it. That was probably me. There's been 6 likes and 4 reshares. And this is posted at 12:14 p.m. It is now 4 hours later. What the actual F? What the actual F, my friends? Let's take a look at some of the news coverage on this because I am incensed. I'm incensed. And I'm sure that you are too. But this is just, what? What are we doing here? The 4 people who were arrested in connection with the human remains located in Babylon, West Islip, and Bethpage State Park on February 29th and March 5th. So originally, the high school girls found the first parts on February 29th, which was 6 days ago, last Thursday. And then yesterday, the torso was found at Bethpage State Park, and some other remains were found in West Islip in the woods. I think I called it Babylon. Maybe it was West Islip. Police say they have charged Stephen Brown, 44, of Amityville, Jeffrey Mackey, 38, of Amityville, Amanda Wallace, 40, of Amityville, and Alexis Nieves, 33, who is homeless or undomiciled, I think is the politically correct way to say it now, with hindering prosecution, tampering with physical evidence, and concealment of a human corpse. Nieves has been arraigned. All 4 of them were arraigned today. They all pled not guilty. The prosecution has said that there's extensive evidence in the case and that some of the items recovered include meat cleavers, plural, butcher knives, and significant blood evidence. Officials say Nieves, Alexis Nieves, was living at 25 Railroad Avenue, Amityville, with people she knew for a short time, and she went through lengths to conceal evidence. Nieves was the first one to plead guilty, apparently. Not guilty. I'm sorry, not guilty. Of course she's pleading not guilty. She's also the only one of the 4 to have a private counsel, private attorney. She's the one who's undomiciled and has the private attorney. The other 3 defendants who are arraigned today all have assigned counsel or 18B counsel. So guess what? Suffolk County taxpayers, you're paying for that. She's been released on supervised release with the GPS ankle monitor, told not to leave Suffolk County, surrender her passport, report to a probation officer. 2 of these defendants are to come back to court on March 8th, and 2 of them are to come back on March 11th. Amanda Wallace, who was also arraigned on the same charges, it is said by prosecution that she went through lengths to conceal crimes that occurred relating to the body parts due to the 2 victims. She's also released with the GPS ankle monitoring, as were the 2 males, Brown and Mackey. The only thing we know about the victims is that the female was I'll start that again, back to 1. The only thing we know about the victims is that the female is 59 years old and the male is 53 years old, and their last known address was together in Yonkers, which is in Westchester County, New York. Their identities are being withheld pending notification to next of kin. Police have said the situation appears to be an isolated incident with no threat to the public. With no threat to the public, says News 12 and police, although these 4 are back out on the street. But don't worry, because they're wearing ankle monitors. So hopefully police will know where they are at all times. Hopefully. Let's take a look at what Channel 7 reported a little bit earlier today. Oh, coincidentally, by the way, when I went to look up all these cases in the court docket and the criminal calendar, Stephen Brown, coincidentally, was scheduled to be in criminal court today on another matter. So his attorney, Ira Weissman, who is his assigned counsel, got to bang 2 appearances out in one day. What could be better than that? So Stephen Brown was also pleading not guilty on a couple of other charges today that occurred on January 20th of 2024. Failure to return his license or registration or plates, aggravated unlicensed operation of a motor vehicle in the 3rd degree, seatbelt violation, a motor vehicle license with a violation of improper license, it says, and another violation that he had no license. So at least he got to get 2 appearances done in one day today in Central Islip. So congratulations to Stephen Brown for knocking that out in one day. Jeffrey Mackey, it's M-A-C capital K-E-Y, is due back in court March 8th. And what I found interesting also about these criminal charges is that the date of the crime is listed as 2/27/24. So the first discovery of the remains was not until the 29th, which was Thursday. But the date of the crime is listed 2/27, which means to me that police have evidence that this abuse of the corpse and the things that these fine people were charged with, the tampering of evidence, occurred on Tuesday, February 27th of 2024. So I find that to be interesting. For the love of everything, I don't get it. But let's see what ABC News, Channel 7 had to say today.
Breaking news related to the body parts from a man and a woman that were found scattered across Suffolk County. We've just learned the names of 4 people arrested in that case, now charged with concealment of a human corpse, tampering with physical evidence, hindering prosecution. The 2 men and 2 women are due in court in Central Islip this afternoon. The DA says bail reform laws mean they cannot ask the suspects to be held on bail on these charges. Eyewitness News reporter Crystal Cranmore has more on the investigation.
Let's just stop this video for 1 second so that we can keep these names up on the screen for a second. Well, it doesn't want to let me do that because it kind of makes it like foggy. All right, well, you can go back to that if you're interested in the identities of these Long Islanders from Amityville.
Police rounded up those 4 individuals from this house right behind me, and while authorities say they did not find any human remains inside this home, they did find body parts about 5 miles from here. Police searched this home on Railroad Avenue in Amityville Monday night before taking 3 men and a woman into custody. It did not take long before police discovered remains at Bethpage State Park and a wooded area in West Babylon Tuesday morning. The West Babylon scene is about 3 miles from where authorities say a group of students found remains in Southards Pond Park last Thursday. Suffolk County police say all the body parts belong to a 53-year-old man and 59-year-old woman who at some point lived at the same address in Yonkers. Residents in West Babylon say they're on edge after the discoveries.
I am surprised. And I'm afraid too.
Knowing that it was on my street, makes you inquire about what could be a possible motive.
Police are not yet identifying the victims until their family members have been notified. In Amityville, Crystal Cranmore, Channel 7 Eyewitness.
Are we still going with the love triangle theory? Because that's what they were going with yesterday. Perhaps it was a love triangle. Where's Kathy Hochul, our governor, on all this? Where's she? Haven't seen any statement by her today. Has anybody else seen it? Unfortunately, the suspects can't go back to their Amityville apartment due to inoperable plumbing because some of the plumbing was removed during the police investigation. So where are they going to go? Because they have to stay in Suffolk County. But that's what News 7 is reporting on their website. Our new Suffolk County executive, Ed Romaine, also released a statement saying that he was outraged that the subjects were not being held. And here's his quote. The failure of Albany's bail laws has resulted in those charged with dismembering and placing body parts in our communities to walk free without posting any bail, Romaine said. This is outrageous and completely unacceptable in a civilized society when our prosecutors are handcuffed and those charged with this heinous crime are mandated by the state to go free. He called for the laws to be changed immediately and said he will support any efforts to force change in Albany. This article from Channel 7 then goes on to say, The two victims, believed to be a 59-year-old man and a 59-year-old woman and a 53-year-old man, may have lived together in Yonkers, and their deaths might stem from a domestic dispute. So we've heard love triangle, we've heard domestic dispute. And if you thought the Amityville residents on Railroad Avenue were scared when they found out this happened on their street, how scared do you think they're going to be when they find out that they've all four been released without bail? Let's go to the chat for a minute, because I'm rarely speechless, but today I am. But before I do that, I just want to thank all of the viewers who have sent me bought me coffee on the Buy Me a Coffee app, including Francine, Teresa, Stephanie, and Casey. Thank you so much for buying me matcha lattes. It's just another way to support the channel outside of YouTube Super Chats, because YouTube takes 30%. Discussed. And also Maureen Francis, as always, and Jeanette for sending cash apps. And Venmo, my Venmo friends, thank you so much. Tracy, Suzanne, Gaylin, Patricia, Patty, and Joyce. You're appreciated and loved more than you know. I can't even thank you enough for your generosity. Maureen Francis, always in here first with the super sticker. Again, thank you. You are so important to this channel. Sherry Davis, thank you too, because you also are so very generous. And thank you for the $10 super chat. WTF, what the flowers. Melanie keeping us informed. Ankle monitors should shock if attempts to remove. Okay, so there's that. Should we have, that's a little bit of comfort, Sherry. Anyway, a little bit. Nunya Business, who has one of my favorite screen names, if you know, you know, says, when kids are finding body parts on the way to school, you can't be letting the people responsible out on bail. Like, seriously, come on. They're not even out on bail. No bail. Free. They got out of jail free. And they got free attorneys. And all they have to do is wear the ankle monitor, come in once a week to probation, to a parole officer, a probation officer, surrender their passports, and please remain in Suffolk County. Please stay in Suffolk County, because we want you here. We want you to stay here. My bet, yeah. They said there's a lot of evidence that they are guilty. Yes, let's take a look at the charges, shall we? Because the top charge, well, hello, it says you K2 people and they let them go free. I don't understand. They're not charged with that. Here's what they're charged with. And here's the top charge for all four of them. They are all charged with 3 crimes. The top charge for each of them is hindering prosecution in the first degree, which is a Class D felony. We're going to take a look at the actual statutes, because I'm a lawyer and that's what we do here. This is the top charge, hindering prosecution in the first degree. I'm going to read it to you because I know a lot of you are driving and such when you're listening, so you can't read it yourself. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. That doesn't want to, oh, there we go. New York State Penal Law, Section 205.65, hindering prosecution in the first degree. A person is guilty of hindering prosecution in the first degree when he renders criminal assistance to a person who has committed a Class A felony, knowing or believing that such person has engaged in conduct constituting a Class A felony. Hindering prosecution in the first degree is a Class D felony. That's the top charge. The next charge that all 3 of them are accused of, because, you know, innocent till proven guilty, even though there seems to be a mountain of evidence against them, is concealment of a human corpse. Which is New York State Penal Law 195.02. Concealment of a human corpse. Person is guilty of concealment of a human corpse when having a reasonable expectation that a human corpse or part thereof will be produced for or used as physical evidence in A, an official proceeding, B, an autopsy as part of a criminal investigation, or C, an examination by law enforcement personnel as part of a criminal investigation, such person alone or in concert with another conceals, alters, or destroys such corpse or part thereof with the intent to prevent its production, use, or discovery. Concealment of a human corpse is a Class E felony. And the third charge, these fine folks have been accused of tampering with physical evidence. Let's take a look at that statute. Tampering with physical evidence is New York State Penal Law, Section 215.40, and they are charged with Section 2 of this statute. Tampering with physical evidence. A person is guilty of tampering with physical evidence when 1, with intent that it be used or introduced in an official proceeding or a prospective official proceeding, he A, knowingly makes, devises, or prepares false evidence, or produces or offers such evidence at a proceeding knowing it to be false, or 2, this is what they're charged with, believing that certain physical evidence is about to be produced or used in an official proceeding or a prospective official proceeding, and intending to prevent such production or use, he suppresses it by any act of concealment, alteration, or destruction, or by employing force, intimidation, or deception against any person. Tampering with physical evidence is a Class E felony. So each of these 4 individuals is charged with 3 felonies. They were all let out without bail. Okay? That's where we stand today, New York. That's where we stand. Congratulations, New York. The only one who's really reporting this like it is the New York Post, because their headline actually says, bail fail. Well, this is an opinion piece, actually. Study shows, oh no, this is different. Hold on, I didn't even get to that part yet. Wait, we'll get to that in a minute. A lot of the headlines didn't even talk about the fact that these people were released without bail. If you look at the News 12 Instagram post, it just says something like, 4 people arrested, and it was from this morning. And the comment, go for the comments, because the comments are insane. It's like, really? Your headline should be 4 people were let out. Oh, and then they just changed it to say, oh, and here's some video. So let's go to that. We've got some video. Oh, we got a perp walk, you guys. We got a perp walk. Hold on. Well, and if I talked long enough, something else would pop up for us to look at. This is coming to you from News 12 Long Island's Instagram.
Suffolk, they just appeared in court a short time ago. They were charged and then
I'm going to take this back to the top. Hang on one second.
4 people arrested in connection with the human remains found in Nassau and Suffolk. They just appeared in court a short time ago. They were charged and then released.
All of the people released today are going to have GPS monitoring.
4 people arrested in connection with the human remains found in Nassau and Suffolk. They just appeared in court a short time ago. They were charged and then released.
All of the people released today are going to have GPS monitoring.
4 people arrested in connection with the human remains found in Nassau and Suffolk. They just appeared in court a short time ago. They were charged and then released.
All of the people released
Just
today are going to have.
It's going to play forever until I stop it. So let's go to their main page and see if we can click on that and get any further information if they have a longer clip. Hang on one sec. I don't think they've put this perp walk up on their website yet. I think they're limited to the one that we saw before. Except I gotta let this ad play for a second. Yeah, Sushi says, is the GPS monitoring statement supposed to be comforting to the public? Seems that way. Sure seems that way. All right, they do have the perp walk video up, so let's take a look at that. News 12 hasn't been that great with their breaking stories lately, but I guess they heard what I had to say. Just getting a little bit better at it. I don't know. Can't make this up, my friends. You just can't make it up.
Connection with the human remains. Breaking right now on News 12, 4 people arrested in connection with the human remains found in Nassau and Suffolk. They just appeared in court a short time ago. They were charged and then released. News 12's crime reporter Krista McNally is live outside the Central Islip Courthouse with an update. Krista, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. That's right, Joe. We just saw all of those 4 people leaving the courthouse this afternoon. All 4 of them were arraigned this morning. And according to Suffolk police, they are being charged in connection with the body parts found in West Babylon, and Bethpage State Park. Now, according to police, they say 44-year-old Stephen Brown, 38-year-old Jeffrey Mackey, 40-year-old Amanda Wallace, and 33-year-old Alexis Nieves are all being charged with hindering prosecution, tampering with physical evidence, and concealment of a human corpse. The prosecutor said they went through great lengths to avoid apprehension. They are accused of hacking and scattering limbs in those 3 different locations throughout Long Island. And the 2 victims, as News 12 has reported, police say are a 59-year-old woman and a 53-year-old man. Several of their limbs were found in the different locations, beginning with the man's arm that was originally found last Thursday by a high school student going to school. Now, all of the people released today are going to have GPS monitoring. It's going to be supervised release. They're going to have to report to probation in person, and they will have to surrender their passports. Now, again, we did see all 4 of those people leaving court today, many of them screaming in the parking lot, even pushing and shoving, getting aggressive with members of the media, very upset, but not answering. Did they do this or not? Did they help hide those human remains like they are being accused of? We had many questions for them, and we're going to be bringing you that video on the news at 5.
Wow. Getting very aggressive with media in the parking lot. Did she say that they were assaulting media in the parking lot? Let me just take that back a few seconds.
Or not, did they help hide those human remains like they are being accused of the media? Very parking lot, even pushing 4 of those people leaving court today, many of them screaming in the parking lot, even pushing and shoving, getting aggressive with members of the media, very upset, but not answering. Did they do this or not? Did they help hide those human remains like they are being accused of? We had many questions for them, and we're going to be bringing you that video on the news at 5.
Okay, so they were screaming in the parking lot, pushing and shoving the media, and clearly, obviously, not wanting to answer the question of did they do it? Anybody surprised? Alvin Bragg is not involved in this case. This is Suffolk County, New York. Ray Tierney is the district attorney out here. You may recognize his name because he's also the district attorney who's prosecuting Rex Tierman, the accused Long Island serial killer, who has been indicted on the murdering of all 4 of the women found on Gilgo Beach, known as the Gilgo 4. Team Brittany says, helped hide? They were in plain sight. Lauren, always keeping it light, Lauren. Her flannels clash. Katrina, right? Like they even have passports. Does anybody feel safe that they're out there? Not even home confinement. Somebody said not even home confinement. No, just please stay in Suffolk County and give us your passport. Report to probation once a week and wear an ankle monitor. Kirsten says, what's that saying? Nothing makes a narcissist more mad than actually accusing them of something they actually did. Remember when Adam Montgomery was held in prison on gun charges because they could not find the body of poor little Harmony Montgomery, and he was eventually also charged with abuse of a corpse? Hey, New Hampshire, maybe you got it right. Pierre, Melanie, was drug screening part of their weekly check-in? Not as far as I could tell. That's what was listed. And Sarah O says that, and they can't go to their apartment. So where will they be? Nobody knows. Nobody knows where there will be. All of my law enforcement friends in the chat, my moderators, I have a question for you. And it just left me because I have early onset memory loss. Do you think they'll have eyes on them? Do you think that they will be surveilling them during this supervised release? Or does supervising mean they just have to show up once a week to see their probation officers? Gadsden Freedom Outdoors, one of the aforesaid law enforcement retirees, says, so glad I left New York 14 years ago. Yeah. Yes, Stacey, they let felons out. In fact, these might not even be considered violent felonies. So there might not even be jail time for these felonies, depending. Like what? Scott, also retired law enforcement, and another amazing moderator, says, I think it's safe to say that Rex Sherman was not involved, nor was Asa. Originally, they had been speculating, and still they have not ruled out that this could be either gang-related, MS-13, or it could be cartel-related. If these four are let out, what are the chances that they never make it back to court? What say you on that? Tiff Knox is coming to a neighborhood near you. Ms. Smith says, OMG, how horrific. No wonder MS-13 is setting up shop there. Corinne Lavelle, why did they ram the door open? Because they had evidence that these people were involved in the disposal of these parts. I think when we did the first stream on Sunday night, we knew that they were looking for Ring doorbell camera footage and surveillance camera footage, because where the arms were found was in very close to a residential neighborhood. And they suspected that a car was involved. So they may have had some footage. They may have found the car. They may have traced it back to that house in Amityville. And they had a search warrant for that house, where they found, again, extensive blood evidence, meat cleavers, plural, and butcher knives that are in evidence. Help me understand, my friends. Help me understand. Because this is what we're paying for here. Highest property taxes in the nation, Long Island, pretty much, aside from maybe parts of California. And again, NBC updated their story 2 hours ago. Let's see if they have anything more current than that. They're still saying that the body parts belonging to a man and a woman from Yonkers, who sources say may have been involved in a love triangle with the killer. So they're still going with the love triangle theory. We heard something about domestic violence. We've heard stuff about rumblings about MS-13 or a cartel. And now we have these four, 2 men and 2 women, who have been released without bail in Suffolk County. And they've got to stay in Suffolk County. So how many people are going to sleep well tonight out there? What say you, my friends? What say you? Are you going to sleep well tonight in Suffolk County and Nassau County? Bo Dombrowski, I can't understand. The only thing I can think of is they believe the suspects will lead them to bigger fish. Maybe somebody rolled over on somebody else. Maybe they know who did it and they're waiting. Wow, Jamie, thank you very much for your very generous Venmo donation to the channel. Appreciate you very much. And this is just, if you're just tuning in, the 4 people who were arrested in connection with 3 felony charges of disposing of body parts, tampering with evidence, and abuse of a corpse have been released without bail in Suffolk County. Yeah, and if you wouldn't mind, let's all be sure to tap the like button. It really does help the channel. It helps get the stream pushed out there, because I'm pretty sure we probably already got stricken based on some of the stuff I talked about in the first 5 minutes. I have no idea. No idea what the algorithm is, what we're allowed to say, what we're not allowed to say. We're not allowed to talk about breaking news, but I will tell you that even though I lost my appeal on the first stream, which I did on March 3rd on this case, probably because I showed the picture of the blurred out picture of the tattooed dismembered arm, it was worth it, because maybe one of you called the tip line and had information. So that's what I'm here for, getting the truth out. Katrina Mullis says, they're lucky they're not in my state. They'd be sitting in jail with no bail option and waiting years for a trial. I don't know where you live, but it sounds like you feel safer than we do here in New York. Janelle says, so what? Did someone pay these for to dispose of the parts, scattering them through the park? You know what that reminds me of, Janelle? I did a stream on the guy in California who's the son of a famous Hollywood agent. He's accused of dismembering his wife and her parents, and he paid some people. His name is Samuel Haskell Jr. or Samuel Haskell III. He paid some day laborers something like $500 to take those trash bags of body parts and dispose of them. And these guys who didn't speak any English took the bags. They said that when they had the bags, they felt a little squishy to them. And then they saw an arm, and then they freaked out and brought the bags back, dumped them back to the guy, gave him his money back and said, no, we're not doing this. And he said, oh, it's just a Halloween costume, just a prop. And then these guys went to like 3 local, or at least 1 local police department, and were turned away and told to call the tip line. Like, yeah, maybe, because it wouldn't be unheard of, because Sam Haskell did it in California. And they caught him hanging out at the Topanga Mall in the parking lot when he was arrested. Thanks, Peter Pranzo, another amazing moderator who's retired NYPD. The more quiet law enforcement is, the more they're doing behind the scenes. Suffolk County PD is under a microscope. No missteps. Good, I hope so. But are you feeling safe tonight, Peter? I mean, I'm sure that you have protection, and you and Rochella. Hi, Rochella. Hope you're feeling better from your knee surgery. Like what? Carly, so who murdered them? Bail reform. Yeah. We don't know who. It says, don't worry, Long Island can sleep well. They're going to remove the GPS device and leave the state. Yeah, they may have some more meat cleavers and butcher knives out there, or some other tool that could do the job on that. In the wind? Could they be in the wind somewhere soon? Scott McGinnis, plausible scenario. If they're following them and want to see the big picture, if it's a gang or organized crime, but the suspects may also be in danger themselves now too. That's what I'm thinking, right? If it is something like organized crime, gang, cartel, they might not be around long. What do they say? Stitches get ditches now? Not even stitches, ditches. Kate Lewis, yes, that photo was important. Thank you. Thank you. And I was happy to show it, because that's how we identify victims. And this show is always about the victims. So please, prayers up for the victims' families and friends who may or may not even have been identified yet or notified yet. Phoebe Beach says, the DA is frustrated. He blames bail reform laws done in the Capitol in New York. Yep. As does the new Suffolk County executive at Romaine. Crime is the new status quo. Laura Christine says that case is wild. Oh, Samuel Haskell? It is. It's insane. And have you seen when they bring him into court every time? They put him like in a straitjacket, and they won't even let him wear a shirt. He has to go shirtless into court because they're afraid he's going to off himself. That's crazy. Oh, some of the people in the chat said they actually did go and search up the tattoos. And Erica says, Melanie, you can't make sense of the senseless. Peter Preza says we called it spring pruning. They found 1 torso green dragon, as far as we know, in the Bethpage State Park, which is where the golf courses are. Bethpage Black is one of the most famous golf courses in the world. They played a lot of US Opens. Debbie says that girl stands out with her hair. The pink hair. Austin, I know. People say snitches get stitches. Not here. Not here. They don't. They get ditches. We've changed that saying because you know what goes on here. Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. Thanks for the coffees. Have they found their full bodies? We don't know. We don't know. We know they found one torso. I don't know about the other one. This is insane. I don't think that I have any more video to show you right now, currently. But you can bet I'll be in court to see these next court appearances. And I'll be reporting to you. I'll be reporting back to you. So if you're just tuning in, let's recap, shall we? 4 people were arrested in connection with the human remains that were found on February 29th by a group of high school students and on March 5th by investigators. Their names are as follows. Stephen Brown, 44, of Amityville. Jeffrey Mackey, 38, of Amityville. Amanda Wallace, 40, of Amityville. And Alexis Nieves, 33, who is undomiciled, but was living in the Amityville house on Railroad Avenue with the other 3 people who were arraigned today. They all pled not guilty to the following charges. They were charged with 3 felonies each. We went over them earlier. If you're just joining, you can rewind and we actually read the actual statutes. The top charge is hindering prosecution, which is a D felony, class D felony. Second charge is tampering with physical evidence with an attempt to conceal or destroy, which is a class E felony in New York. Count 3, concealment of a human corpse, which is also a class E felony in New York. They've all pled not guilty. 3 of them are represented by public defenders, and one of them, the one who coincidentally is undomiciled, is represented by a private attorney. None of them were charged with the murders of these 2 people. None of them had to post bail or bond because of New York's bail reform laws. They were all 3 asked to wear an ankle monitor, or an ankle monitor was put on them, told they must remain in Suffolk County, surrender their passports, and report to a probation officer once a week. 2 of them are scheduled to be back in court on March 8th, and 2 of them are scheduled to be back in court on March 11th. One of them, reports say, was maybe a little more guilty than the other. Let me just get to that and see if that's been updated yet. Prosecutors Assistant District Attorney Frank Schroeder of the Homicide Bureau said authorities have significant evidence against the 4 defendants, including human remains, meat cleavers, butchered knives, and significant amounts of blood. The prosecutor did not specify where the weapons and blood were found. And apparently it was Alexis Nieves, 33-year-old woman who was undomiciled but living at the 25 Railroad Avenue in Amityville address, the prosecutor said, went to barbaric lengths to cover up the crime. Nieves was recently, quote, undomiciled, end quote, as reported by Newsday, and was staying with her co-defendants at a home on Railroad Avenue in Amityville. I don't know if that was her with the pink hair. I'm not sure. That we saw on the perp walk. Nieves, according to the prosecutors, has a pending criminal possession of a controlled substance charge. I think it was News 12 who also reported that these suspects became belligerent in the parking lot to media and that they were screaming, pushing, and shoving reporters who were asking them whether or not they did it. The victims have not yet been identified publicly. Peter says, and I hope you're right, Peter. They probably gave up the murderers. Callers are probably on the way. I hope so. Scott says, I only found public info on one of the alleged perps. See, I used alleged. Oh, good, Scott. I know it's hard not to when you're retired law enforcement. Lauren says, I wish I was shocked, but I'm really not. Kirsten says, undomiciled. I've just heard that for the first time ever now. I just heard that for the first time about 2 weeks ago. Helen, the Scottish llama. Could Alexis Nieves be living in a van or something? No fixed abode, but not homeless? She was living with them. I think she was staying with them. That's what they're saying. I'd like to know, just in the chat, for my own personal curiosity. You know what? I'm going to put a poll up. Hold on while I put a poll up. And if you wouldn't mind answering this poll, I want to know where you are all watching from. I think I have to do it from my computer. Whether you are from Long Island, somewhere else in the US, or international. And if you are international, would you mind putting your location in the chat? Because this is, I think, becoming an international story. At least I hope it is. Let's see, where are you watching from? Oops. Okay. Poll should be up. Where are you watching from? Long Island, somewhere else in New York State, somewhere else in the US, or international? If you wouldn't mind voting, I would greatly appreciate it. I don't know who votes, you know, what your votes are, who votes what. So you're not giving me your location. You're just contributing to the poll. There's other news reports reporting that they were, 4 roommates arrested, charged after body parts found scattered in Long Island Park. Human remains found in park near elementary school on Long Island. Was possible love triangle the motive? 4 arrested in Babylon body parts probe, including Stephen Brown, 44, after cops find meat cleavers and blood. That's the U.S. Sun. They always have the most salacious titles. Okay, Tracy Burns is in the Czech Republic. Hello. I saw somebody from Scotland, at least 2 people from Scotland in the chat earlier. So hello, my Scottish friends. Costa Rica. This is an international story. Sarah Clancy says, no, I am so scared. This is too much. I know, Sarah, I know. And today might be a day where I don't tell my children what I'm reporting on, because are they going to cancel school? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Oh, Shagnelli, you missed way too much. I can't even repeat it, but I'm sure if you rewind later, you will get the whole entire thing. Wow. Wow, wow. Age range of the audience. All right, we could do that. You want to do another poll after this one is over? To see what the age range of this. I can tell you that from my YouTube analytics. I think 80% of my audience currently is 45 and up. And that when I first started the channel about in the summer, it was 90% women and 10% men. The men have started watching more. So I think we're up to almost 25% men. But studies have shown, or experts have shown, or I've heard experts say that it seems that women are more interested in true crime than men, but I don't know if that's necessarily true. Hello, New Zealand. Hey, Leisha from New Zealand. Justin Shades, crazy story. Hello, Violet Lotus is in Hawaii, but watch you because of Karen Reed. Yeah, there should be hopefully some new stuff to report about on Karen Reed very soon. And we will get back to that. But every day, there's more and more breaking on this story. So I have to drop what I'm doing and report on this because it's local to me. It's personal to me. Hello, Scotland. There's a third. Lynn Dancer is the third from Scotland. Ah, see, I already took your advice. I added New York. So Long Island, New York, US, and international. Newfoundland, Canada is in the house. Antarctica? Austin, for real? You're really in Antarctica? Nancy's from Long Island. Eileen, another one from Scotland. Maybe that's 4. This channel does really well in Scotland. And hello, Melbourne. Peter, we do have a lot of viewers also from Australia and New Zealand area. All right, let's see what the poll says so far. Wow, only 4% of you are actually from Long Island. 4% are from New York State proper. 77% from other parts in the US and 14% international. I'm surprised that we have such a small Long Island showing right now. I'm going to leave that up for 1 or 2 more minutes and see if you guys have any questions in the chat. Kirsten's in Colorado. Let's go Buffs. Hello, Nicolo Diaz. Impressions. Since Sherman's case, still believe there is doctors and cops involved in international human organ trafficking organization in Suffolk County. That's an interesting theory. And that's frightening too, to even think about. Oh my. Aileen says this must be terrifying for near residents. Yeah, to say the least. In just a few minutes, will that news channel have the report? Yeah, News 12. Let's check out their website and see if they're gonna show that. What time is it? It's 5 o'clock now. So let's I'm gonna turn it on for you. It's News 12. Many of you may not get it. The scuffle outside the courthouse. Tips in Central California coast, but sometimes it feels like another country. Po Dombrowski says, I was unaware of New York's bail reform. I'll be checking that out after this stream. Yeah, I could do a whole entire stream on that, but not enough time today. Deborah Barron says, I think men are more picky about what they watch. Scott's 56 going on 19. Trish is 61. Another Scotland. I have a huge Scottish following. I love that. Storm watch? What do you mean? We're having a storm watch now? I didn't even know there was a storm coming. Here we go.
As 4 suspects were charged and then released. We have team coverage tonight, beginning with crime reporter Krista McNally. And Krista, let's be clear here. These suspects are not charged with murder, but are facing some very serious allegations.
That's right, Joe. None of the 4 people have been charged with murder at this time. However, according to court documents, they are being charged with attempting to conceal, alter, or destroy human body parts. Now, all 4 of those people walked out of court today with no bail.
I don't care what you did.
The 4 people who have been arrested in connection with the human remains scattered on Long Island angrily walked out of the courthouse following their arraignment. 44-year-old Stephen Brown, 38-year-old Jeffrey Mackey, 40-year-old Amanda Wallace, and 33-year-old Alexis Nieves are all facing charges of hindering prosecution, tampering with physical evidence by concealing or destroying, and concealment of a human corpse. The suspects allegedly went through great lengths to avoid apprehension, according to prosecutors. And they say they allegedly hacked and scattered limbs in Nassau and Suffolk County. The prosecution also stated in court that there is significant evidence, including meat cleavers, butcher knives, and significant amounts of blood that were found. Court documents state that the defendants removed body parts from their home and concealed them at multiple locations. The two victims, police say, are a 59-year-old woman and a 53-year-old man.
We've entered a plea of not guilty. We have not received any discovery at this point. We maintain our innocence. We look forward to receiving discovery and whatever evidence they have, and we plan on fighting it vigorously.
He didn't have anything to do with this and certainly didn't kill anybody.
None of the four suspects are being charged with murder at this time. They all lived or were staying at the home located at 25 Railroad Avenue in Amityville.
There's a lot of people in there. Recently, there was a couple that moved in. So that's I don't know them.
Now, all four suspects were released with GPS monitoring. They also had to surrender their passports. And while prosecutors say upgraded charges could be coming, many are wondering how people could be released without bail in a case like this. And for that part of our coverage, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Kevin Vesey. Kevin joins me live from Amityville. Kevin.
Yeah, we're all wondering that.
There's a lot of concern this evening here in Amityville, and quite frankly, some outrage as well after those suspects were released free to return to that house right there behind me. People we spoke to here say they now feel their community is less safe.
Well, it's not good, obviously. You know, it's kind of scary.
People in Amityville on edge after the four suspects linked to the Suffolk body parts case were let out of jail today without having to post bail. According to police, 3 of the suspects live in this house on Railroad Avenue. The 4th is homeless.
You have kids and grandkids now. These people are still out.
Suffolk District Attorney Ray Tierney blaming the defendant's release on the state's bail reform law. A spokesperson for Governor Hochul writing in a statement, Governor Hochul changed the bail laws to make sure criminals can be held on bail. That includes any individuals charged with murder, rape, or other violent felonies. But these suspects were only charged with nonviolent offenses. Toro law professor Richard Klein says that gave the judge little choice.
The charges are not for homicide. So there was no option for the judge to remand the defendants, for example, to keep them in without the setting of any bail.
Oh, they should be in jail until waiting on trial or posting bail, I would imagine. You know, it's crazy.
And according to the judge's order, the suspects are now required to remain in Suffolk County. We didn't see any of them walking through the front door of the house today, but prosecutors in court said that the home is now uninhabitable because of problems with the plumbing. Joe?
All right, Kevin, still understandable that a lot of people in that area and that neighborhood are having a difficult time digesting that news. Thank you for that live report tonight. And stay with News 12 for the latest developments in this story, and make sure you download our News 12 app to get breaking news delivered right to your phone.
Well, there you go, friends. Now it's on to the rain. Now it's on to the weather story. Julia says, how long ago were the victims killed? The date on their arrest, on their charges, says that at least their crimes occurred on February 27th, which would have been 8 days ago, which was last Tuesday. The body parts were first discovered on the 29th, which was Thursday, by a couple of girls walking to their high school in Babylon. So at least the things that they were charged with are alleged to have occurred on the 27th. I don't know the actual date of on either of the victims, and we don't know neither do we know their identities because they have not yet been released to the public. And as you heard, judges have no discretion when defendants are charged with nonviolent felonies, and none of these felonies were violent. So they're all out there. They're all out there, everyone. Make sure you rewind to the back of the stream, to the front of the stream, to the beginning of the stream if you missed me talk about the actual statutes and the actual charges that they were accused of, that they've been accused of. This is really disconcerting, I think, for so many of us that live here. I'm just going to give you the results of the poll while we're here. There were 4% from Long Island, 3% from Long Island, 4% from New York State, 13% international, and 77% watching from other parts of the US. Thank you again to all my moderators for keeping the chat so classy today. I appreciate you so. Viewers, replay viewers, and my channel members, I love you so much. Without you, I wouldn't have a channel or anyone to talk to. You can really help me by just hitting the little like button right below your stream. Doesn't cost you anything. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you know when I go live, because I don't have a set schedule right now. And I go live when I can because I'm a busy mother. So I don't know what else to say, you guys, except remember, be cool, be kind, be classy. It's not hard. It is really so not hard. And stay safe, Long Island. Peace. See you again soon.